All of these blurry games you see on screen right now are coming 2024. Some of them are definite, some of them are maybes, but I wanted to cover all of them so you know going into the year what to expect. Either way, everyone is going to find something, and if I miss any games, well, let me know as well. Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown is one of the games we've been waiting the longest for. We know the most about, but essentially I still need to cover it. It's probably one of the biggest returning franchises in racing game history, and it needs to be covered. I'm excited at being able to play a version of it, an early version, but since I played it, they've made some significant changes and they released some new gameplay. The new cruise gameplay really demonstrated the test drive experience, showing you indicators working and basically what you could do to leisurely drive. The road size is appropriate, they're not overly massive, and the handling is going for a more simulation, simcade style rather than full arcade. I'm super excited for this game, and I'm sure a lot of you are too. We are very close to this game, supposedly being in the first quarter, at least the first half of the year, unless it gets delayed again, but hopefully not. Moving on to what should actually be next in time frame. We should actually be getting a Setto Corsa 2, not a Competizione, the one I'm showing you here, but of course this demonstrates what the game should look like. Competizione looks very good, it plays more simulation, but essentially Setto Corsa goes for a more light approach to racing. It's been known to be one of the craziest games in terms of modding. It's still played, and one of the most played racing games on PC to this day because of the craziness that you can do to it. Now people are very excited, be interesting to see how they go with that, and really what they need to do is run with it. Maybe allow modding support built into the game, have some form of modding support on consoles, but at the same time, if they go too crazy that route, we may have some issues with licensing, so they may just be like, remove the badges. Either way, I'm excited to see what they're cooking up, and ultimately, the next Assetto Corsa. Forza Horizon, not 5, Forza Horizon 6 shall be coming, obviously, based on their normal release schedule. Now, the big question I actually asked was, are they going to go with the older engine and basically build upon it, or go with the new engine and start from the ground? Either way, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are excited. Of the established racing games, this is clearly a huge one. It's going to be available on Game Pass as usual. They are leaning a little bit more towards microtransactions, so I'll be very curious to see which way they go. Personally, I kind of hope they're going to keep building upon it, because the creator mode that they've added to the game since launch, very, very cool. It definitely needs to be worked on more, but it's very cool, and I would love to see them go that approach. Custom content created by the community generally is better than what they can create themselves, so that's what I want to see a big push into with Forza Horizon 6. I do actually have a full video on Forza Horizon 6 and what I expect, and the big choice that I'm talking about. I'll link that at the end, so make sure you stay tuned. GTR Revival is our next game. This one is a very interesting one indeed. There's a whole lot of backstory, and quite honestly, this could be its own full video. But essentially, this is going to be like Project Cars 1 and 2, more so, less like Project Cars 3, which I actually kind of preferred, but we're not going to talk about that one. Me and Ian Bell and Project Cars go back a long time. There's a little bit of interestingness to go through there. However, now the leashes have been removed, I'm very curious to see what Slightly Mad Studios can come up with. The lighting is looking like what they were trying to go for with Forza Motorsport, but they actually got it right. This will likely be heavily focused on PC and then maybe eventually come to consoles. I don't know the situation with like publishing and funding and things like that, but for those that don't know, Slightly Mad was recently under Codemasters and then they weren't. So they were under EA twice, and then they weren't. If you want to see a video of me talking about this game a little bit more and showing more specifics, let me know down in the comments, because I would love to know. Welcome to Pacific Drive. Now, this is an actually really interesting game. So it's a smaller game, more cartoony, but essentially you are building a car through the end of the world. You are a person and their car, a man and his machine, crossing the country when everything has gone terribly wrong. The concept is super cool. As you find things, you're going to be building up your car and making it better. It looks pretty spooky and pretty scary. I am definitely going to be playing this game. It just intrigues me so much. It's definitely a way to take the genre into a different direction. Of course, it's not a racing game as such. Well, we don't know that. They may add races and such. But it looks kind of scary, spooky, terrifying racing game. Car game, not racing game. But you get the idea. I'm really into supporting small developers, and obviously this one still looks Like a heck of a lot of work has gone into it, and you can really appreciate it. But hey, if you want to see more of this, you're in the right place. Japanese Drift Master. We've already played this. A really good way to explain this game is a Japanese drifting game, essentially very similar to Need for Speed Underground 2, because it has separate shops and things for you to go to essentially upgrade your car, and a pretty small map. Now, this is one of the first like smaller games that I'm like really impressed by how quality this game looks. You know it's not going to be a full price game, but essentially you get some of that full game quality. In fact, they impress me more than some of the big AAA games. There's actually an early access demo you can play of this game right now over on Steam. We did check it out, so if you want to see that video, of course, that's also accessible on the channel. But essentially, Need for Speed Underground, but Japan in daylight. That's the demo date. That the game's coming out next year. Hence the video, 2024. I should say. They did a really good job with the drift cameras, the HUD cams, and the interior cam especially really impressed me. The hand movements and stuff, the sense of speed, the feel. They done a cracking job. The roads are super small. Essentially, if we were asking for a Japanese racing game, this is kind of it. Obviously, it's drifting, but there is racing included. Night Runners is our next entry. This is a game we've been covering for some time now, and the amount of stuff that keeps getting added to this game within each update from this very small developer, it's pretty insane to say the least. So essentially, again, a Japanese-based racing game based on the Tokyo Expressway this time rather than the mountain Japanese roads. Games like this are definitely why I'm really pushing, like, small developers are so important, because they are really doing what the people want. They're doing what they want as well. They are the people. Other than the crazy customization, the racing, the sense of speed and drive, it's just so intense. And of course, it looks great as well from a smaller kind of development. Look at the amount of dials. I don't know what all the bloody dials are doing. Do they all need to be there? Absolutely not. However, I am super excited to see where this game goes, and ultimately their take on what Japanese racing at night should be. There's actually quite an interesting idea of how the reputation and money system is built into the game. And if you want more information on that specifically, watch one of those dedicated videos that I have. I have plenty of them. So friends, here's the part of the video where we transition a little bit. We're going from definitely coming out games, okay, definitely most of the time, and moving on to maybe. This game is a little bit interesting to explain, but welcome to Recreation. Basically, this is created and inspired by the creators of the original Burnout games. 3 Field Entertainment, basically ex-Criterion heads of studio. Now, they made some smaller games we played on the channel before. They made a crashing game, they made a golf game. I actually had a lot of fun with those. They've now got an actual publisher, which is THQ Nordic, and they are creating a game where you can basically smash, crash, and destroy things a la Burnout while doing some racing. But there's also an element of being able to place ramps and stuff at the same time. It's a very difficult thing to advertise, I would say. It's a little bit odd, but you can definitely tell it's Burnout themed. Burnout is back, and this is probably the closest we'll get to it, unless EA realizes that car games actually could be quite popular if they did more of them. But, you know, EA moment. I guess you could kind of explain it as a Forza Horizon, Hot Wheels, but also you can drive on the ground. It's a game. It's a car game where you smash things up. Which is basically the burn. I don't even know. Yeah. Now this is a maybe because it's likely to be here. However, they've been working on this game for years and years, and we heard nothing. They cancelled the game. We don't know what was going on. So that's why it's a kind of maybe, but I really hope we see it. And I hope it gets some visibility, if it were. Welcome next, friends, to CarX Street. This is I'm not going to sugarcoat it, a frustrating one. So this game came out on mobile first. That's something that the CarX developers tend to do. Now, they've actually also announced another game, CarX Drift 3, that's also coming out this year onto mobile. I don't know how their development works. I quite frankly have given up trying to figure it out. But sure, at some point, we can expect to see this CarX come to the PC platform and then eventually come over to the consoles after that. They recently released a big update with a whole new section of the map, and the optimization is still underway. On my Android phone, I have a terrible time. However, on my iPhone, I have a perfect time. My iPad, I have a perfect, the usual spiel. But over on PC, it's going to be super easy to run a game like this that's essentially bred for mobile to work on mobile. So ultimately, my question to you guys is, do you think we'll finally see it this year? Because we've been hoping and praying that we'd see it for, well, a couple of years now. I really hope so, because I do actually enjoy it. I need to play it properly. I don't play games on my phone. It's just not. Now my next one is, I'm gonna say it's been a controversial one. It's GTA 6. I've had a lot of fun in the past playing GTA races, and of course a lot of the crazy high-rise stuff. The creator makes it one of the best racing games that you can essentially play, whether it's on the ground or in the sky with these jumps and loops and stuff that some people are visually turned off by. Rockstar do a really good job in terms of actually giving players tools and also creating a good handling model in an open world game. It's not primarily focused on driving. A lot of open world games fail at this handling, which is something that I've been thinking about recently, but there is a reason why. GTA really knows that it has to get the cars good, and they did a pretty good job. Suspension and movement, cars are different. So I'm kind of looking forward to jump back into racing on GTA. I've been trying to do it on video recently, which did incredibly. Thanks very much. But GTA 6 hopefully is a fresh start, and we can really focus on grinding out those cars again, because I do miss those initial grinding cars. Moving on to my last one, which is what I call an absolute reach. Welcome, my friends, to Need for Speed 2020. I can't even say it. Need for Speed 2027 at this rate. Need for Speed is one I'll always hold on to hope that we will actually get. I don't know what's going on. We don't know what. I mean, the last we heard is that Criterion is no longer working primarily on the Need for Speed game. They're working on Battlefield instead, which is really frustrating, but we put up a bit of a fight, and I don't know. Time will tell. Maybe Unbound will continue to get updates, which then leads me on to play the games that you've already got. A lot of these big games, Forza Horizon 5, Gran Turismo, all the big games that came out over the last few years continue to get updates to this day. Even GTA 5 gets updates and new cars to this day. So I think we should take some time to appreciate those games, because games as a service, yes, it's kind of frustrating, but when you get more cars, content, races, I'm not really going to complain about that.